get annihilated by some of the most brutal, evil people in the world. And my consistent point here is any differences we have in this room may seem big in the room. Those differences are infinitesimal. We need to get over it, get our heads out of our rear end, as we say in the Army.
All right, that's Florida Congressman Michael Waltz sounding off on the ongoing divisions within the Republican conference as they have yet to select a House Speaker. Now, with a war raging in the Middle East and possibly beyond, will Republicans be able to settle on who finally holds that ever-important gavel? With us now is Florida Republican Congressman and member of the House Judiciary Committee, Matt Gaetz. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Well, thanks so much for having me.
Congressman, what goes through your mind when you're being attacked for kind of starting this all off, right? And then meanwhile, you've got AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Cori Bush. They continue to fan the flames of hatred, of anti-Semitism going on. Do you think that, people need to get their priorities straight and focus on the real people that are trying to destroy this country instead of trying to attack you?
Yeah, I don't really understand why trying to move the House into a more conservative position, trying to get a more conservative House Speaker would draw the ire of conservatives. Frankly, I've received a lot more praise from my constituents in Florida than I have criticism, but it's not really about that. It's about getting the House back to work. And I've got to share with you some troubling news that we just learned. After having elected Jim Jordan of Ohio, the House Speaker designate on Friday, we took Saturday off. We're taking today off, and I've just learned that Pro Tem Patrick McHenry will now ensure that we take Monday off and we don't vote. I am here in Washington. We are meeting with our colleagues. My colleague Corey Mills came back from Israel, where he was engaging in harrowing rescues to be here to elect Jim Jordan for Speaker. But what the swamp is trying to do, they're trying to delay a vote for Jim Jordan because they know he is not beholden to the lobbyists and special interests here. So I'm in this interview with you to turn up the heat on Patrick McHenry and any Republican who would try to delay a floor vote on Jim Jordan. If they don't want to vote for him, let them do it in public. I'm tired of these closed-door private struggle sessions that House Republicans have been having. Instead, we need to move to the vote and let the chips fall where they may.
Well, there's some breaking news right there. Congressman Matt Gaetz just announcing that they will not be voting for the speakership tomorrow, that Patrick Henry has decided to take another day off. Now, Congressman, the race for Speaker, it's coming at a time when faith in Congress is at an all-time low. According to the latest Gallup poll, only 32% of Americans say they have faith in Congress now. And then the latest YouGov poll, even lower than that, showing only 15% of Americans approve of Congress overall. Congressman Gaetz, how do we restore faith back in our elected leaders?
Yeah, I think Muammar Gaddafi had about an 18% approval rating when his own people dragged him in the streets and killed him. So 15% isn't ideal. I would say that the manner in which the Congress has engaged in its work has reduced the confidence that the American people have in the Congress. When we take one up or down vote on the funding of the entire government all at once, when we drive $2 trillion annual deficits, when we sit atop a $33 trillion debt, then the American people are right to question our decision-making process. The reason Kevin McCarthy is removed is not because he did a deal with Democrats. It's because he failed to keep his word with Republicans. Kevin McCarthy made a promise to us back in January that we would review the agencies of government independently, that we would pass a balanced budget. And when he did not meet those commitments, it didn't matter what he was doing with the Democrats. His trust with Republicans had been shattered. I think Jim Jordan has a lot of trust among conservative Republicans, more moderate Republicans. He's one of our most effective campaigners and fundraisers. He is a man of vision and courage and virtue. And the only reason we aren't taking a vote on Jim Jordan tomorrow is because the swamp wants an opportunity to regroup and reconstitute and threaten House conservatives that if we don't take back Kevin McCarthy like some jilted ex, somehow we're going to be forced into a deal with Democrats that empowers Hakeem Jeffries and Republicans who might want to do that deal with Democrats. We should have no deal with Democrats. We should not go backward to Kevin McCarthy. We should go forward with Jim Jordan. That's what Newsmax viewers want to see. That's what I want to see. That's what the American people will benefit from.
Congressman, you never really hear about Democrats voting with Republicans, but you often hear about Republicans siding with Democrats. Why is that?
Nancy Pelosi rules with an iron fist. And by the way, she's still the one in charge of that conference. I mean, Hakeem Jeffries is the front man, but the person that's really calling the shots among the Democrats is Nancy Pelosi. She's the one who made the decision that they didn't want to own McCarthy, and that's why they didn't support him on my motion to vacate. As Republicans, our general nature is to be more independent-minded, to be more independent thinking. We question centralized control of things as a natural part of our ideology. So we're a little bit more unruly at times, but I think that the American people want to see some unruliness in Washington, D.C. We're not here for just doing things the same way they've always been done. When I ran for Congress, I told the voters, if you think everything's going well in Washington and you want people to perpetuate that system, send somebody other than me. I want to be a change agent here, and that, I think, can improve some of the confidence that the American people would have in the Congress if they saw us doing our work.
What do you say to people that we have about a minute left, to say to people, in order to get legislation passed, in order to move forward, you got to reach across that aisle, you got to meet in the middle, and somebody like Jim Jordan or you're too divisive and you're causing all of this chaos?
Well, I got 208 Democrats to vote for my resolution just about a week or so ago, so I reached across the aisle. And Jim Jordan has shown on the House Judiciary Committee an ability to even work with folks like Jerry Nadler and Pramila Jayapal, two people on the more progressive side of the Democratic caucus when it comes to protecting intellectual property, doing criminal justice reform so that we give people that first chance at a better life as they're reentering society. And I think he's been very judicious in that role. I think he's been very thoughtful. And he's someone who, speaks his mind and people know where he stands. So he won't have the doublespeak that has become very pervasive in Washington, D.C. He'll offer direct leadership that the American people need at this time.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Jim Jordan, definitely a great orator. He's also backed by you and as well as President Trump. So we'll see how it goes. Congressman Matt Gaetz, thank you so much for joining us.